Hi there. Time to come on in and sit a spell, if you will. Of course, if you're driving, don't look at the screen. Eyes straight ahead. Always be anticipating what the next person will do on the road because if you haven't noticed more and more, you have to be on your toes because they'll pull right in front of you. They'll pass you if they have to do it on the shoulder. Scary out there. You can't drive but a short time and see people doing crazy stuff. I've had to hit the brakes to avoid someone pulling out in front of me at least twice, 3 times this week. They're putting it in my hands. Oh, he'll stop. So that's how it is. We have people that come down from Otisville, and there's a side road right near the house, and they're making a left now. I think they have put their directional on and what have you, but these guys love to beep them. They love to beep them like, "How dare you get in my way?" That's how it is now. Very, very scary. The personality traits of this day have certainly, in a bigger way than ever, uh, infested the way people drive and often get away with it. But there's always accidents. Every time I pass the car crash lot, which is just down the hill, it's full of cars, and the body shop is right across the street. They are kept busy. Hello, Elaine Peterson. Elaine has taken the train and joined us tonight. Good to have you here. Neo as well, saying his usual hey. And Helen McDonald from Australia. Just making sure everything's okay. Hi, Helen. Hi, Jack and all. Tammy with an I. I'm not getting notified. That's the second time today you've said this. I don't know why. Maybe your bell is on the fritz. You might want to call a bell repairman tomorrow. They're hard to find now. It's not as easy as it used to be, you know? It's kind of like looking for a television repairman to come and put a new tube in your ancient television. It's not going to be so easy. Jack Birch from the John Birch Society. That's your real name, John, isn't it? Huh? Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? The John Birch Society. Jack is a nickname for John, isn't it? Usually, there's some people actually called Jack though. Is Bob Joyce? Is Bob Joyce is going to be in a movie? Is Bob Joyce going to be in a movie? You mean like I started saying greatest pancakes, but it's best pancakes in the county, right? Starring Academy Award winner Nicolas Cage and Justin Long, Amanda Seyfried's ex there, and others as well. They wrapped up shooting in Arkansas. I think it was shot exclusively in Arkansas. And one of the scenes was done at Sabrina Joyce McDonald Beasley Patterson's house. She's got a lot of names. Um, was able to confirm that from a source, inside source. So I think we're right about that. But in terms of Pastor Bob being in the movie, I don't know. I would think since a central part of the movie is a diner that serves the best pancakes, there's going to be customers in that shop. And I would be very surprised. I would be very surprised if Bob Joyce is not in there and Matt Joyce and Sabrina Joyce. I mean, they'll all be having the pancakes. It's a thriller. It's a thriller. We know that. And I would say we're going to have to wait till at least the summer, late summer, or into the fall to see best pancakes in the county. I'm not saying this is necessarily a family friendly film, though, you know. I mean, his character, the name of his character is SOB, Nicolas Cage. So I don't know what to do with that. So we're just going to have to wait. We're going to have to wait. But pretty much have it confirmed that this actually happened. Very reliable inside source. Where are you from, Jack Birch? Where are you watching us from? Cheryl Trotman is here. Hi, Jack. Hello, Cheryl. Where are you hanging your hat these days? I said hello to Karen Phillips. So I don't know, Jack, about. I just have a feeling that would be likely. That I would say Nicolas Cage would want him to do even maybe a cameo, even maybe a cameo. So then it would be up to Pastor Bob if he wanted to do it. He might ask a few questions about the movie, like, are you going to be muddying God's name in this movie? Because I don't really want to be a part of it then. You know, what's the connection between Nicolas Cage and Pastor Bob? Was he his, I don't know, I'm going to take a wild guess. Was he his son-in-law for 3 months? Was he his son-in-law? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just posing questions, Julia Joyce. Are you related to Bob Joyce, by the way? Would that be Robert Wayne Joyce you're related to? Or maybe your hubby? Maybe you don't have a hubby. I don't know. Hello, Jack and family. XX. Thank you. Pam Inslee. Great to be together from Montana. Do you have mooses there, Pam Inslee? Are there mooses? By the way, I'm going to get the content. What time is it? I'm going to get the content by 15 after the hour about the flat earth and all that. That's been a controversy this week. Not really. Pastor Bob made some comments at his Sunday sermon, but I'll preface what I say because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, and I respect your opinion if you believe in the flat earth. I'll say that right now. We have a couple of really good people here that do. I know that, and I'm not out to make fun of you or anything like that. That's not our mission. Mary Redford is here. Any relation to Robert? You knew I was going to say that, right? Hello. I hope you're having a nice day. Well, it's pitch black out here, so the day seems to have eluded us. But if you're in Australia, like 4 or 5 people will be tonight, at least, um, you are experiencing Thursday afternoon. Not Tuesday Afternoon by the Moody Blues. That's a great song, isn't it? Pam Donnelly. No, Jack, sometimes I don't get a notification that you're on either. I don't know. See, this is the tech stuff, and you can pretty much tell I'm a complete dodo when it comes to the tech stuff. So I don't know why. You got to be near your turned on device, though. So turn your device on, Pam. No, Jack. No, Jack. Good evening, Jack, and everyone, says Jane Justice. Jane with a Y. Hello, hello, hello. I'm glad you're here. Jane has been with us for quite some time now. She's a regular member. Look at that, 34 watching already. 8 likes. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell. Can you do that? Right now, hit that subscribe button. It helps us be seen by more people when we reach another plateau. We don't, unless I get a really hot video, which I do sometimes. Hot for me is like, it's going to hit something like 72,000, like Wild New Bob Joyce video is doing, going towards 73. I thought it was 74, but sometimes I swear they change the numbers just to mess with me, just so they help me think I'm losing my mind. I look out the window of my plane and I see a monster on the wing. There's a script for the Twilight Zone. So I don't know what to say about that. Good evening. Good evening, Jane. Some think Bob Joyce was in a bunch of movies back in the day. Really? I don't know about that because it seems like he just materialized like Will Shat in those Raisin Bran commercials. Well, there's only one that I know of so far. It's 30 seconds. It debuted just before Bad Bunny. I'm glad they didn't put it in during Bad Bunny because I would have missed it because we tuned over to the Turning Point USA show with few people, headlined by Kid Rock, Rob Ritchie. Yeah, also known as Bobby. Laura Ingram likes to call him Bobby. So you think he was in a bunch of movies. I wonder what kind they would be. John says, hello, Jack, from Rocky Mountain High in Colorado Springs. Yeah, make me think of the late, great John Denver, who I adored, one of the great artists of all times, who should have never rode an experimental plane over the ocean. That was a big mistake. Tammy Griffin says, hello, everyone. I'm just heading home from my last delivery. So, what do you deliver? Do you deliver Amazon or Uber or something like that? You know, not Uber, but do you deliver Grubhub or DoorDash or something like that? Hmm? You can't say because you're in the witness protection program or because you're a secret agent man, secret agent man. Listen to that song and tell me he doesn't say secret Asian man at least once. I'm pretty sure Johnny Rivers did. That's okay. You can be incognito. We'll just say John Birch deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker in a nondescript building. I hope Mark Levin doesn't mind me ripping off his open. Oh, I found it amusing anyway. Let's see here. Pamela Inslee, nice to have you aboard. Yeah, you are very right. Can it withstand a withstand a bomb? Kid Rock has number one song on iTunes. So see, I would never know that because I never have tuned into iTunes. And it was that song that he closed with the ballad talking about dusting off the Bible, right? There's a book you got to read that's in your house, dust it off, that kind of thing. Love John Denver. I do Uber, Walmart, and DoorDash. So, wow, you are busy. You are busy. The gentleman that they detained for hours was an Amazon driver. And they thought his eyes lined up with the guy behind the ski mask out there in Arizona. And of course, it wasn't. And he said they asked him a bunch of questions. They never read him his rights and they put him in cuffs. And they kept the cuffs on, did they? You expect somebody to want to talk to you if you have cuffs on, which he said were too tight and they were hurting his wrist. And I saw, well, I didn't see, I was driving around today. I got an amusing story to tell you about Ash Wednesday that is next week. So don't miss that. Uh, but I tuned into Hannity because I decided to go up to Newburgh. Karen is definitely not eating today, not since this morning, because she's prepping for a colonoscopy. Poor Karen. And I'll be with her in the morning and I'll be staying over there tonight in the living room should she need me. But Andy's on duty right now. He's right across from her. So, you know, he's not far. Hockey 92.7 FM joins us. Good evening, Jack and everyone. I hope things are good with everyone. Yeah, we're up to 38 or more. You never know sometimes because not everybody signs in. We always get a much bigger audience in the replay, but we've done all right. We've gone up to about, I don't know, 130 something in the live at one time. Michael Hembry is here. Hi, Jack, in bold caps. You're like me. I love to write in bold caps. I just can't get away from it. Andrea is here, is she? Yeah, Elaine. The reign of Elaine. Nancy and in memoriam Terry Whitmore is here saying hello to Elaine Peterson. Hello, hello, hello. He's going to write in all caps all the time now. I've seen those pictures you showed last night. I believe the picture. Um, what do you believe about the picture, Michael? What do you believe about it? Don't say, let's see. Remember, the word is showed, not should. You showed of the first Bob Joyce is Elvis. So I got to think about the first picture that I showed. Okay. Take time with your typing. Take time with your typing. No hurry. We'll be here for a while. You know what we do. I come on and even in a pop on and to pop off from my recliner or somewhere out there doing a broadcast. And I say, oh, we're just going to be on a short time. And before you know it, I've done as long as if I had done a worldwide ramblings. So let's see. Look at this. This is how fast it goes. I can't explain it. I said I'd start content at 9:15 and it's 9:18. In other words, 18 minutes in, because I know people watch at different times of the day and the hour. So, all right, let's go for 20 minutes in. I am excited and going to see Epic next week. Um, have to dive or drive, because if it's a 2-hour dive, you better have a lot of oxygen in that tank. 2 hours to the cinema. I love it. We don't call it the cinema anymore, do we? And that's a beautiful word. As I live in the country or out in the country by Three Dog Night at 92 Rock 7. Looking forward to it. Have to tell me about Epic. Uh, Karen wants to take me to a movie on Saturday afternoon, Valentine's Day. It's based on Wuthering Heights, but also they used the story on Dark Shadows for the very final story they ever did, the Bromwell story. So it's really her that wants to see it, but I'll probably like it. I'll probably like it. The pictures that you see in there, I'd have to think which ones. A lot of them came off the phone and what have you. Can't do the same video twice. And when we do hold pictures up live, it's different than if I'm doing a pre-recorded. Sometimes they're more blurry. So I can't promise you that, Michael. But let me roll it around in my medulla. Perhaps you should go to a movie till you can't. Oh, come on, Neo. God. So far, I'm doing fine. I'm feeling fine. I'm even going to go as far as to proclaim that the moment I decided to get more serious about my faith, it was easier to sleep, which is very important. Sleep is very important, and I'm feeling different. I'm feeling different. I have a book that I'm reading called Entitled, which is about Prince Andrew and the Duchess of York, former, they're both former now, Duchess of York, Sarah Ferguson, by their unauthorized biographer who's been dogging him for years. He's like that Jack Willard guy. Don't give up. Till, Vinny the Chin comes to visit, of course. So I'm very optimistic, Neil. People go 15 years before it gets bad. And man, I'd be 85 almost, because I'm going to be 70 March 21st. I'd be 85 then. So the frontal lobe, Bruce Willis, and last live show, Carolyn Mullins. I want you to pray for Carolyn Mullins. She told us that she has been diagnosed with frontal lobe. So I've been praying for her every night. And I even put my hands on my head because I'm going to pray for my head as well, you know, and believe God. And I pray that God will heal her head. Frontal lobe dementia is what Bruce Willis has, and it made him nonverbal pretty quick. Pretty quick. Yes, but I'm doing a different topic now, Michael. But yeah, I may have some of them in front of me, and I will do that. Okay, a little bit later on, though. I don't think you're someone that comes in just for 5 minutes. I don't think. Carol Cook, take care of Karen. Take care, Karen. She's saying, okay, yeah. Well, Dr. Plumer's the best. Plumer the plumber, we call him. He's the best. This is down by the racetrack. I think Karen is going to have her colonoscopy in the open air of the third lap of the Orange County Fair Speedway, which is different, and the wind will be a blowing. No, his building is right next. It's actually the Middletown Medical Building, but they rent Horizon Medical rents the front of the building, and that's where it will be at about. We got to be there at 9 o'clock, a reasonable hour, not too bad, right, Bertha Blackwell? That song, the Kid Rock song, the other night, that was a great song. He was great doing it. Hope everyone that is on the show is all well and taking care of themselves. I haven't been on here very much. I see you usually in the pre-recorded videos or the comment section of the replays, right? I see you there a lot. I actually bought a copy of it already. Well, that's good, Neil. You can buy it right off of YouTunes or iTunes. That's what they should have called the YouTube music, YouTunes. Y-O-U, tunes. But nobody asked me about it. All right, I'm going to do content. Probably nobody cares about this. Maybe the replay crowd. Pastor Bob Joyce did speak about. So I can't see your comments for a while. Okay, don't talk to me. Don't you talk to me. Look straight ahead. Um, he made some comments in his sermon last Sunday about. Uh, he believes the earth is round, and he explained his reasoning. I don't have his clip here. But I do have other tabs open that explain some things. Somebody, my competitor, was not happy to hear his views and was almost astonished by it. I think sometimes people that believe in the flat earth think they have a majority opinion. And it wasn't too long ago, the estimate of people that believe that for I don't know if it was the country or the world was somewhere around 5,000. But then, of course, when things like YouTube come along and flourishes and Rumble and the various other platforms and conspiracy theory is is a big thing right now. When that kind of thing comes along, of course, there's going to be more people that would be open to it, but they're open to just about so many things. Now, we have a few viewers here that I know believe in the flat earth, and they happen to be among my most cherished viewers. I'm not saying the biggest donors, that's not key to that. I'm talking about people, and that means a tip jar, not I'm not a .org organization. I think I just was redundant. But people that are very dear to me, and I know they believe that, and that's cool. That's cool. I'm not out to change anybody. And guess what? You won't. If people that believe in the round earth will believe in that, probably haven't looked into it that much. People who believe into the flat earth, I'll say this much, they probably looked into their view more, you know. I have a few friends, even a source that believes in the flat earth. Well, several sources, and that's cool. So I looked up the AI overview to see what they say. The Earth is proven to be a sphere through centuries of observation, including observing ships disappearing hull first over the horizon, the circular shadow cast on the moon during lunar eclipses, and changing star constellations based on latitude. Am I putting people to sleep yet? Photographic evidence from space and global circumnavigation have confirmed these findings. Lunar eclipse shadows. During a lunar eclipse, Earth passes between the sun and the moon, casting a shadow. The shadow is always round, regardless of the time or the season, which is only possible if the Earth is a sphere. Ships at the horizon. As ships sail away, they disappear hull first, and masts are last to vanish. If the Earth were flat, the entire boat would simply get smaller, not disappear from the bottom up. Stars change by latitude. Traveling north or south changes the stars visible in the night sky. Um, for example, the North Star is directly overhead at the North Pole, but disappears below the horizon in the southern hemisphere. Time zones and sunset. Because the Earth is round, it rotates, causing the sun to illuminate different paths and different times. If the Earth were flat, the sun would rise and set for everyone simultaneously. Photos from space. It's all a big, vast conspiracy, these photos from space, right? Since the 1960s, countless satellites and astronauts have captured images of the Earth from space, explicitly showing its spherical changes. Spherical changes. Viewing distances. Climbing to a higher altitude, like a tall building or mountain, allows you to see further over the horizon, revealing more of the surface that was hidden by the curvature of the earth. I wanted to see what we could see about what the Bible says about this. Several biblical several biblical passages are often cited to suggest a round or spherical earth, primarily through references to the circle of the earth, Isaiah 40:22, and God circling or compassing the face of the waters, Job 26:10, Proverbs 8:27. These verses use the Hebrew word KHUG, which can imply a spherical or round shape. Isaiah 40:22 states that God sits enthroned above the circle of the earth, which many interpret as a description of the planet's round appearance from space. Job 26:10 mentions that God has inscribed a circle on the face of the waters at the boundary between light and darkness, often interpreted as the terminator line between day and night on a sphere. Proverbs 8:27 refers to God setting a compass or a circle upon the face of the depth. In the New Testament, Luke 17:31 through 36 implies different times of day simultaneously, people in bed grinding grain, which fits a rotating spherical earth where day and night occur at the same time. Depends where you are. Genesis 1 implicitly suggests a global rounded earth when describing a global flood covering all waters, which is more consistent with a spherical rather than flat body. So that's some of it right there. That's some of it right there. Go back to the live stream there. Here's Robin Roman. Hello, Jack and family. Hi, Robin. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Fancy Nancy DeMarco. You're talking about Charlotte? What happened in Charlotte now? They had snow not that long ago. Of course, there's more than one Charlotte, right? There's more than one Charlotte? There must be. But of course, we all think about Charlotte, North Carolina. Donna is here. I'm enjoying reading you reading to us. Todd Bradshaw, the Tennessee Titan. Excuse me, 37. Hi, Todd. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I went to Home Depot, and just for the fun of it, Todd yelled, Department of Ice. And everybody in the front of the store ran away. No, you didn't do that, Todd. I went to Home Depot and asked for a plum level. See, I don't own a tool bag, so this will be something that's new to me that takes into account the I'm sorry, I'll get this word, the circumference of the Earth. They did not have one. You mean you actually found a Home Depot employee? What what comedian uses that for a joke? He's talking about God, and his friends say, "Well, how can you believe in a God that you've never seen?" And he thought about it, and he said, "Well, I believe Home Depot employees exist." Anyway, that's interesting, Todd. That is a very interesting. I got to roll that around my head. Jack, I hope you and your wife are doing well. So we're married now, huh? No, she hasn't said yes to that. She hasn't said yes to that. There would go her first husband's extra Social Security, which she kind of needs and, relies on. Um, he kind of, left responsibilities when he left here. So she definitely deserves it. But yeah, she's having a colonoscopy, so she's not a happy camper. She's prepping. I know how it was because I did it just, I don't know. Time goes so quickly. I think that's in a song. So we got to be there at 9 o'clock in the morning. Hello, Jack and John Boren. I am Robin Roman from Littleton, Colorado. Do we have two Robin Romans? I don't think so. But so where are you, John? I forget. Yes, it's rare, Jack. LOL. Well, I don't like rare, but medium is good for me. Plum. Plum bob or split level, Todd? Plum bob or split level, asked Neil. I assume you get the gravity of the question. Oh boy. Oh boy. I don't want to miss anybody's comments. So yeah. And when I start to, I want to talk about Bertha's surgery here. I want to read that comment if you're not reading it. Um, can you imagine the vast conspiracy that would have to be in place for the earth to be flat? How many thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people would have to be in on it? Now, those who said that in Sandy Hook, the kids that were murdered were all actors, there you would have a couple of thousand people that would have to be involved with that to hold that uh, uh, conspiracy together. And why would it be? This is what cost Alex Jones, millions, almost brought him down. It took people like, including Tucker Carlson, to hold him up to still make sure he had a platform. But he used to be a pretty rich man, Alex Jones. So in terms of the flat Earth, every pilot, everybody from NASA completely fake. Uh, if you want to talk to me about the 1969 moon landing not being real, well, I do see some things that point to that. I do. But, we're talking about decades and decades of NASA, the whole thing, one big conspiracy. If you want to think about all the things that would have to be true, uh, and all the people that would have to be in on that to hold that up as a valid theory. It's not logical. It's not logical. So all Pastor Bob did was say that he believes you can believe what you want. And I'm saying the same thing as Pastor Bob. You can believe what you want. But I believe, he said, in the round earth, and he then gave his explanation, and it's in the last Sunday sermon. Maybe I will play it when I can find the exact part of the sermon. If anybody knows exactly when it starts, exactly when a good time would be to come in, let me know, because that far I didn't get. So, Bertha, yes, I had major surgery on my knee, and my surgeon went in my knee with a what? A Justin Bieber? No. Um, a kinda well, whatever. He had to I've never seen that word in 69 years, Bertha, so don't be too hard on me. He had to put mash in my knee. You mean like when they mash in for moonshine? Is that what you're saying? He had to put mash in my knee because one doctor messed me up bad. He had to fix tendons out of mash or construct tendons out of mash. Huh. Wow. So how you feeling now, Bertha? I'm going back down here now. 44 watching. Welcome to Worldwide Ramblings. We'd like to hear from you. What's on your mind tonight? We pretty much talked about the flat earth. It was just interesting. One of my competitors was, and the big thing that's going on right now is Pastor Bob Joyce done with George Magazine? It's not whether he thinks the earth is round and you think it's flat. Don't it's like don't look at the man behind the curtain. Oh, look at this little tidbit over here. Yeah. I don't want to bust on people, but boy, it's just been weird lately. It's been weird, as Ozzy would say. Hijacking everyone from down under. Well, you're not down under. The earth is flat. And so, what part of the earth do I have to go to where if I take one more step, I'm in the abyss? Can you answer me that? What part of the earth do I have to go to where I'm going to be saying whoopsie daisies? Whoopsie daisies. Is there at least a good solid fence there so I don't step one more foot off the earth here? And down under doesn't exist because of a flat earth? What do you think, Jackie Organ? What's your take? But welcome. Todd Bradshaw talking to Neo about Spirit Airlines, the airline where they have no seats. You just hold on to a strap like you're in the subway and all the chairs on the train are full. And somebody's blasting a boom box. Did you ever have a boom box, Todd? It does not matter, though. Level is level, and straight line is just that. So put that in layman's terms. What are you saying, Todd? Because I may miss the crux of what you're saying. Here's Jay Pogera. Hi, Jack. Good evening. Great to see you. I don't believe it happened, or you don't believe it happened. If you're reacting to something I said, I have no idea. You have to say the full thing of what you're responding to, because look, I'm spitting out words here 1,000 miles an hour. Yeah. Here's Katina. I know you're a flathead. Hey, you want to hear something funny, Katina? When I first saw that from the guy who was pointing out that Pastor Bob said it, I thought he was talking about his haircut. That used to be the thing. Do you want a regular crew cut or do you want the flat top? The flat top. And he doesn't have a traditional flat top because there's a little pointiness going on and then flat, as I recall. But I thought he was saying that Pastor Bob was making fun of his hairdo. I didn't get that right away. No. Hey, Jackie. Oh, happy Wednesday to you, over the hump day, Prince Spaghetti Day. So I might as well tell you my Ash Wednesday story now. Hi, I'm Silva. She is from the land of the banana pudding. Some people will get that, but you are the you are the land of banana pudding. That's what's for dessert. when you buy that $45, what do they have? Ribs and it's the London broil thing. I'm not using the right term. Yes, you know about banana pudding. What is it? Begins with an R. Rudy's? Rudy's. And then there's Opie's. Have you been to Opie's, M. Silva? I met Opie. I'll tell you what I did. Uh, I was out there with Corey, and he said, "You want to go to Opie's barbecue?" And I said, "Well, sounds good to me." And my goodness, we walked into Opie's, and he was sitting at the first table on the left. I would have a conversation with Opie. I don't know if he's still with us. He was a pretty big guy, and I was worried about him. And he said, yes, right? Opie said, you brought the cold weather with you from New York because it was chilly in Texas. I can't get a break. All my exes live in Texas. Only one does, actually. But it would be better if they both lived there. I'll talk to the other one, and she'll get a restraining order against me. You haven't been to Opie's, but you certainly have been to what? Not Rudy's? They have the banana pudding at all these places, but I love Smoky Moe's. Oh, okay. Moe's, right? Yeah. Smoky Moe's. Oh, it's big there. It's big there. Everybody goes to the barbecue. Oh, Elaine Peterson, you obviously didn't take my advice to go to Cohen's Optical for your specs. Stop buying these Dollar Tree readers. They're not that good. I still have a boombox, Jack. Yeah, I had a few myself. Yeah. And if you go down to the Salvation Army, there's probably one for sale right now. You probably will find one, and if not there, it's easy to go to eBay and find one. You still do have a boombox, sure. They were the you had to have one. You know, everybody else had one. You got to have one. So yeah, I'm ready for my banana pudding there when I come to visit. I know that won't be at a certain place that reminds me of Ponderosa, but all these barbecue places have them. That's a specified dessert, and I'm all right with it. I'm all right with it. It is Thursday afternoon in Ozland. It definitely is. Sure, I love banana pudding, says Michael. Yeah, why not? The only kind of pudding I don't like. What's the only kind of pudding I don't like? I'm not too thrilled with vanilla. I'm not a vanilla person. I shouldn't have said that. Katina, you may hit me with a ruler. Someone's going to catch exactly what I just said, but it won't be Elaine Peterson because she's already smoking the hash pipe. I am looking for I thought you said a Boss CD. You want a Bruce Springsteen CD. I thought, why is she looking for a Bruce Springsteen CD? Come on, his politics ain't right. A Bose, yeah, Bose, great quality. Those Bose radios, right? Oh yeah, they're not as popular as they used to be. But did you have a Bose radio, Todd? What about you, Robin Roman? Did you have a Bose radio? Bose CD wave radio. They are hard to find. CD wave radio. So why is it a wave radio? See, I'm a radio guy, and I don't know what a wave radio is. Although there is some kind of music service called Grace Wave, isn't there? Grace Wave. There's a free plug. I'm not all that bad, right? Bertha Blackwell, I'm in a cast, which we're all going to come to your house and sign. Do you have any banana pudding? Like she's ready to go out in the kitchen and make some, You don't have an Opie's, and you don't have a Smokies, and you don't have a whatever that other one is, and Rudy's. I'm in a cast on my leg, which makes sense. And my new surgeon did my surgery in December 22nd, and he had to put a cast on when he was done. So I have to leave it on my leg for 3 months. We'll have a lot of signatures and little pictures on there. Don't tell someone not to be, too much of an artist, because you have to save room for other people. Wave is the model name of one of those Bose radios. Why do you suppose they call it a wave radio? I always liked Bose, right? Who used to do those commercials? I had a radio one time from that brand and finally wore it out. Wow. Nancy, not fancy Nancy. I don't know. You may be fancy as well. Hi. Hi, Jack. Welcome to you. I don't believe the moon landing happened. I heard it was filmed in the desert. Well, yeah, you hear these things. Now, the guy playing Stanley Kubrick, though, was supposedly not him. That's what I hear. They hired an actor who looked very much like him, and the voice that he used was maybe an AI voice that sounded a lot like Stanley Kubrick. So, but there's other things when it comes to that, including one of the astronauts saying it never happened. It never happened. Now, was he? He didn't look like he was in the dementia zone when he said it either. So, so, well, you have an opinion, and we don't castigate you for it, and we certainly don't castrate you for it, do we? Do we, Donna? We ain't gonna go all Lorena Bobbitt on you. For goodness sakes, don't worry about having an opinion as long as it's respectful. Don't go crazy, go nuts. Yes, I'm good. Yes, I'm good. I'm good than you. What? Yes, I'm good. I still don't know what that means, Katina. Um, let's see here. And I'm not exactly sure. Well, look at that. Jody Smith has gotten off of work, I would say, and has hit the thanks button right down there. Does it still say thanks, Jody? Or do you have to hit ask first and then you see thanks? $1.99. She's the great encourager. Thank you very, very much. I already have a few people to thank on the Cash App, which I'll be doing in a couple of minutes. And we need more core audience. We need more core audience, that's for sure, as we just try to make a minimal budget. I just found out how much I made on Google. This is in terms of pre-recorded video and people that hit the thanks button. I make in the course of a year what Candace Owens makes in the course of a half an hour. But I'm not about to get on here and start talking about all the problems I have with the Holy Land, Israel, and have a cross behind me. And I'm not going to denigrate uh, Erica Kirk and now even Charlie Kirk. And then we find out, she's a former employee that was let go from Turning Point. So I'm going to do a separate video. I'm not going to do it here, Robin. I don't want to be too negative. And I'm not going to mention the B word. I promise you, Robin Roman, I will not mention the B word tonight. I will not talk in any way, shape, or form about Boise, Idaho. We've done enough of it. I would consider, why do I read these live? I would consider growing vanilla, but that would be a lot of work. Neil, I think if we ever were able to sit in your mind for a while, we would feel like we had just taken magic mushrooms. Who here has taken a magic mushroom? I mean, obviously you didn't do it yesterday, but now mushrooms are coming back, right? Special blends of mushrooms. Ron White supposedly got sober going to a mushroom place. Another dollar from Jody Smith. $1. It's $2.99. See, I have a superior math ability. So if I miss an interesting comment, thank you, GTSY. Hope you're all well this week, says Todd the Mod. Todd the Mod. So, yeah. Just looking here. So thank you, Patricia, for hitting the Cash App for $2. Thank you, Elaine, for hitting the Cash App for $10. It all helps. Every bit helps. And Elaine is very faithful in that area. So thank you. I need more of you to make that meager budget that we have here. and it's wonderful when it's people that have never hit it before. The Cash App handle, which I'll put in the live stream, is Media Guy 56, lowercase letters, lowercase letters. So Andy was in the studio a lot today because I'm getting all the stuff ready because I'm going to have to pay taxes on this stuff. Um, Still haven't told my Ash Wednesday story. Don't forget to remind me. I'm going to do it. So that's the Cash App. If you can hit that for any amount, I would really, really appreciate it. I thank you, those who hit the thanks button too. I get more of it when you hit Cash App. If you have that, and it would be greatly appreciated. So, um, part of me getting serious about my faith is that the church that I grew up in, not the church I was born again in, I was born again through Jimmy Swagger Ministries via the telly, because God has a sense of humor. He really does. Pick the pick the preacher that good old John dislikes the most, but yet is thoroughly entertained by when Jimmy was in his prime, you know. And on a lot of networks, he's gone on to be with Jesus now. I believe he's there. And so I when I was going through my first divorce, uh, I I had a strong calling to go back to my roots. There's a quietness there. I don't want all the frills of a social club and stuff like that. I'm really looking for a one-on-one experience, and if you go in with the right heart, I certainly believe you can have that, and I believe you can have that with the eulogy. Do I believe all the doctrine? I absolutely don't. I absolutely don't. But I'm still able to have a great experience there. So, so I did that, and then I went on to a really good Protestant church where I would serve as a deacon. I was there into the early '90s, and then there was a variety of churches. It wasn't until let's see, 2003 that we found Goodwill Church in Montgomery, New York, and I was there for 5 years with my second wife. But when I was going through my first divorce, I was very comforted by the familiar surroundings of the Catholic Church, and it still has a special place in my heart. It's wonderful if the priest appears to be born again, and when there's doctrine that I don't accept or agree with, even who was it? Somebody that's prominent Protestant. It might have been David Wilkerson. It may not have been. Who, by the way, was killed in a car accident in Dallas. Explain that one. But he said that no, it wasn't. It wasn't David. It was somebody else. Was saying that it might have even been Harold Camping from Family Radio. Now that I think about it, and I was surprised to hear him saying this. If you go to a church and you find doctrine that you don't believe in, you might even state to the pastor, "I don't believe everything that's being preached here, but I do have things about this church I like very much, and this is why I go here." Um, so my doctor, who's 84 now, is a deacon in the Catholic Church and what have you, the one that I go to, and I also go to a Protestant church. And so I wanted to go to Ash Wednesday, long story short, and I didn't do my homework on this issue and check out the date. For some reason, I was just convinced today was Ash Wednesday. And so I put on my nice clothes here and I showed up for the 4 o'clock ashes. The 4 o'clock ashes. See, what I did was I assumed, I assumed it was Ash Wednesday, but it's really next Wednesday. But not to worry. The church has a 24 adoration chapel right in the front. That's where the priests used to get dressed when I was an altar boy. That's where we would get ready for mass. I was an altar boy at that very church. A lot of fond memories there, and I must know 30 to 40 people that are buried in the graveyard, including 3 or 4 of the nuns that were my teachers. So the chapel's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Somebody is assigned to every hour of the week to pray there. They don't build a big, beautiful church and have it open about 8% of the week. You can go there at 3 o'clock in the morning and pray there if you are so inclined. And I love that. I love that. So I went in, of course, I went into the chapel and spent some time there in deep prayer. I'm really serious about changing the depth of my walk in Jesus Christ. That will involve the Protestant church as well. But more and more, it will also involve a one on one experience. Get your instructions from the Lord, then live your faith. Live your faith, right? And I'm always seeking the Lord in my nighttime prayer and whatever of what exactly He would have me do. I already know some of the things He wants me to change. And what his priorities are, and being led and empowered by the Holy Spirit is everything. So, so that's what I'm about, and spent some time, quality time there in prayer, and then drove all the way up to Newburgh to Flaming Grill because, well, Karen can't eat anything at this juncture. She stopped eating this morning, and her colonoscopy is at 9 a.m. And so I went up there, and I also brought food home for Andy, who's been so helpful for me getting my Cash App. That was a chore to get Cash App over to my tax lady Anna, and of course, the pension, the Social Security, a bunch of other things. She charges me a very fair amount considering the things that I'm giving her, but it all adds up to me making a very small amount of money. I can't stress that enough. So we got that done, and Andy was very helpful. I'm very uh, obliged to Andy. So Robin Roman says, "Hey, Andrea, how are you doing today? Nice weather we're having. You guys live in the same neck of the woods? Yeah? I forget how many Australians we have here. Down under. Wait a minute. Down under. Hey, here's Rocky Mountain Red Wing speaking to Robin as well. Donna, I love the older rock. I love the older rock. Mama, love me like a rock. Mama, don't take my Kodachrome away. Did you ever count the number of hits that Paul Simon had? The hits where he mentioned his mama in them. Mama's in a lot of Paul Simon songs. What's my favorite Paul Simon solo hit? Oh, it's easy. Still crazy after all. Still crazy after all these years. I can't get the tune. I can't get the tone of the tune, Robin. But that's a great song. Kind of autobiographical. Autobiographical. It is. Kiss Ozzy. Oh, yes. Well, I can't say I haven't enjoyed some of their tunes. Some of the solo Ozzy is not too, for lack of a better term, balls to the wall. Skinner, Stones, Motown. That's the difference there between Ozzy and Motown. Hendrix. I'm gonna say, although I love the way he played the national anthem, Ozzy and Janis were really never my cup of tea except for that Mercedes-Benz song she did. I she makes my ears bleed. She makes my ears bleed. So I appreciate the contribution she made. I know she was an icon and left us way too early, but I enjoy Bette Midler playing a version of her more than I enjoyed Janis Joplin. Till You Can't. Why is that song stuck in your head? Because you're watching me, Neo, and who did the song Till You Can't? Because I don't know it. Gloria, Jean Harlow Drummond is here. Jesus is the only answer. That's her channel. here at YouTube. Hey, Jack, and all love you all. Welcome and love you back. Let's see here. Watching one of my favorite movies, Eddie and the Cruisers. Right now, you're watching it, huh? Yeah, John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band, right? The Bruce Springsteen ripoff group. But then, yeah, it was just I'll say an honorary tribute to the boss man. I'm not going to sit here and say that I never enjoyed a Bruce Springsteen song. I did. His politics, are another story, but I have enjoyed a number of tunes. I liked hearing Kid Rock on with Laura Ingraham, and they were trying to come against him for a song he did like 15 years ago. He had a friend of his who was 21 but looked much younger, and he appeared in that video. And it was, and he wasn't who he is now. He hadn't met Jesus Christ back then. So they were trying to say, oh, he had this like pedophile song. And he said, have you ever listened to the lyrics of I'm on Fire by Bruce Springsteen? Have you ever listened to them? Hey, little girl, is your daddy home? Did he go away and leave you all alone? Oh, I got a bad desire. I'm on fire. Bruce Springsteen. They won't mention that. They won't mention that. Oh, you're a drummer, huh? Well, that's cool. I know a lot of drummers. Oh, I see. Rob Ritchie, better known as Kid Rock, sang that at halftime. I didn't know that was the name of the tune. I thought Neo was taking a shot at me. Say. Yes, Bette Midler, an amazing voice. Didn't she? Didn't she? Or I don't know how it is now. You hear some of the artists now, and you can Paul McCartney is straining on every song. He's straining on every song. Here's no one. I'll say no one instead of none. How about that? Plot twist: Jack is Elvis and will reveal his true identity soon. Greatest story ever, greatest entertainment story ever told, not told by the mainstream media. So, now you've made a very provocative statement. How do you know this? Jack the Fair Guy at gmail.com. And don't go crazy, go nuts on me, because I'll know pretty quick if you've been into the Wildwood Flower by Jim Stafford. Remember that song? But that's my email. I'll put it right here. I mean, if you got something, well, what if you were legit, and you wanted to give me a little taste? I'll know if it's true or not. I'll know if you're crazy. I'll just say it the plain way. I got friends that are crazy. They reveal themselves pretty quick. So I don't know. So we have these two videos. Go to the virtual church here. I have a video that I felt I had to do because I see some efforts to kind of sidetrack away from the topic, and I had to make the point that you can't you can't play both sides of the field at the same time. So in the video, is Bob Joyce done with George Magazine? We basically say right now, unless God works a miracle, that would be true. And based on the comments that Dave Blaze said right here in one of our threads, the Honest Talk video, which is back up because I had to give it context. I had to give it context, and I also had to be able to see the comments, which when you put something private, it blocks the comments from even me, and I've got to be able to read the comments to talk about the topic here. Is Bob Joyce done with George Magazine? So let me go to that video. And there's a commercial, of course. And let's go to analytics and see how it's really doing, because it'll be more than 1K. 1,113. And that's all within the last 48 hours because the video is new. So watch that video, please. It's only 20 minutes of your time. And nice picture of Bob in his blue shirt on the guitar there looking down. Is Bob Joyce done with George Magazine? 37 comments so far. Thank you, Deborah McGinty, for hitting the thanks button in a pre-recorded video for $9.99. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. It's rare, but it does happen. And we had Jeanette and Beverly Chandler, Jeanette Fair, Julia Joyce. So sad I feel for our pastor Bob. Katina, I don't think Gene should have made that video. He should have kept it private. Dave should not have said what he said either. It was like putting fuel on the fire. Well, it was like making sure that it's you just took an axe to the beautiful cake. You just took an axe to it. We can pray for the situation to get resolved. God can work it out. I do agree with that. I do agree with that. Um, Neo checked in. The whole thing sounds unfortunate, was his comment. Tammy Griffin, dang it, dang it, dang me. They ought to take a rope and hang me. Um, Hang me from the highest tree. Woman, won't you wait for me? I think it's something like that. We heard from Pam Inslee in this video. Beverly Chandler, I agree with everything you are saying. Well, my first two wives didn't, but thank you. Mike, one of the Mikes hijacked. That's Mike Harris from North Carolina. Hello, Mike Harris. Bruce Lee and Elvis were good friends, both in the witness protection program, says Ian. Hello, Ian Cameron. Um, I don't know about that, but that's your opinion. And that's, you would say, well, no, that's my fact. And okay. Superhero kid from the nursing home or something. Bob Joyce didn't ask to write in George Magazine. He was asked to write for the magazine and did it knowing it was a secular magazine. They would say they write about faith all the time, but wrote it anyway, which hopes with hopes that his writing may reach someone for Jesus. Exactly. Exactly. And if he was paid, he probably gave the money to the church. So, think about what you're saying. So we got another Lynn. I don't think this is Lynn R, but she feels it's all a con. And then I think she addresses me with her negativity. Even you care about how much money you make on your videos. Really? I want them to make 29 cents. That's all I want. Find me a creator that isn't happy that his work is successful, and if he's monetized, that he makes money. What he does with that money is the key. I'm just trying to supplement a meager retirement. My pension was cut in half. My pension was cut in half because I never read the fine print of the divorce papers. But uh, it was right there. And we both missed it till the amount of, what was in the rears added up. I can only do so much. And, my wife is a very reasonable person. I loved her then. I love her now. But so all creators, if you had a channel and you were monetized, you'd want to be successful as well. Just keep in mind, I started this in 2016. I didn't make 10 cents. In 2018, I was still not making 10 cents. And I started doing the Bob Joyce topic, which led to me getting 1,000 subscribers. And then YouTube sent me an email and said, you can monetize if you want to now, and you can do live if you want to. That's how it was then. I don't know if it's easier to get on live now. It seems to be. But so I started to, and then I went all the way to 2022 to 23. What am I saying? 2022, 23 or 24 to Nancy DeMarco said, why don't you have a thanks button? Everybody else does. And so we started doing that, and that led to Cash App as well. And As I say, Candace Owens in the first half hour of her latest video makes what I make in the year. I can't imagine how much money she's making. I'm gonna talk about her in a separate video, which probably, since I don't have the audience, it'll probably a couple hundred people will see her or something. But I want it on the record. We have done the Homage to Rush series, 3 videos, tributes to Rush Limbaugh, speaking about the kind of political issues I think he would have talked about. And, if you put them all together, I don't think you have 1,000 hits. So, I know where my bread is buttered. And the worker is worth his hire. There'd be nothing wrong with Pastor Bob Joyce taking a salary and getting money from his CDs and taking a cut from Benton or from Coleman, Alabama, and he didn't. He didn't. He doesn't even take an offering at the church. You put it in the box. He'll tell you about the box, and people come and say, "Well, I'm not going to come into the house of the Lord and give $2 or no dollars, and then go down to the restaurant and spend $80. I don't think God will approve of that." So there are some churches that say, if this is your first time here, you're our guest. You're our guest. Be our guest, and what have you. But even then, um, since the Bible tells us that those who obey the Lord and give their first fruits from the heart will receive a blessing. You can't outgive God. That's true. That's true. So, who else is here? Oh, the divine Miss M. But you're not divine, not that person, right? I'm just guessing. In the words of Jack, go crazy, go nuts. Yes, I did many years ago. I mean, I definitely need a checkup from the neck up, and I'm getting one. Got to wait till March 30th to see the neurologist. I could do it faster. I could call Dr. Naidu down there, Westchester, and I could send his secretary, like I can just call him and say, could he get me in to see a neurologist faster? But then I'm going down to Westchester, and I don't really want to do that. I go down there to see him. Don't think I have to see him till May, but I got my Camzyos. The Lord bless me. I'm having to pay like $172, $173 a month now to my health plan. At least I don't have any copays on drugs for this year now. And that's more than I would have had to pay an out-of-pocket expenses. But it's a good drug. It's good to be on it. And I thought that, but of course, you're trying to catch up on other debt that you have, and then all of a sudden you've got that expense. So you can't win for losing. But Jesus has got it all under control. And in everything, I don't have any fear. I have a peace. I have a peace. I think so too, Jody Smith. I'm going to say good night. Well, thank you, Katina, for dropping by from the great state of Pennsylvania. Actual location undisclosed. Glad that you stopped by, and I'm glad you didn't get mad, because we're just, about 20 minutes in, we talk about the round earth versus the flat earth. And what about the pictures, Jack? So now I've got to get into your head, and I've got to remember exactly the pictures that I showed. And who knows if I'll even hit one of your favorites. I don't know. I don't know. It's not so easy being green. Neo could tell you that. Right, Neo? I like that picture of another conspiracy. I'll show it to you later. Gator. Put me to work here, Michael, and I probably won't hit the one that was your favorite. I like this picture from the YMCA. This guy was just passing through. I think he was from North Carolina. His beautiful vintage BMW that was orange. But that's not a great shot of the car. I got more shots, but who knows where those pictures are. Here's the beautiful Karen. Here's the beautiful Karen at one of the theaters. Probably we're going to see the Psychedelic Furs. I'm not sure. Here's the upper room or a replica of it on the grounds of the old PTO in Fort Mill, South Carolina. Um, there was a sign, the upper room, and then underneath it, they put the upper room is closed. How sad, how sad. From the Jim Baker Empire. Jim and Tammy, you remember them. So I'm just looking through my pictures here, and other things come to mind. Here we are in Essex, Connecticut, the Essex Barbershop. We went there to the world's oldest restaurant. Oh, what is the name of that they actually call the place? Because there's another name and it confuses me. And everybody loves to go in there from Dark Shadows and, of course, use the name that they're used to. But we went there to eat at the world's oldest restaurant, opened for business in 1776, America's oldest restaurant, I meant to say. And I did not go to the Essex Barbershop. I'm loyal to Vito Yazzo. Check out Vito Yazzo, Yozzo. He's my hair guy, and he sings a lot of Elvis songs on his channel, Vito Yazzo. And here's Karen and I in the world's oldest restaurant in Essex, Connecticut. We'd like to go back there, but it is in a very famous inn. Beautiful, and it on Dark Shadows is known as the Collinsport Inn. They used only the exteriors when they began the show in six. Can you go one show, and not mention Dark Shadows? Apparently not, but I'm showing pictures, so that's why, So everybody goes in there and tells the waitress, "Oh, it's good to be in the Collinsport Inn." They've heard it before, and they're all young. They don't know what the hell we're talking about. There we are. Karen and I, she's got her psychedelic fur shirt on. She just loves Rich and she loves Richard. And those are her two favorites, and we used to love the great saxophone player that has passed away. Now here we are in Norwalk, Connecticut, having a lovely salad and pizza. We looked up what the best pizza place was because they say there's great pizza in Norwalk, Connecticut, and we had to get the small one because there's no way we could bring anything home. We weren't going home. We were going to the psychedelic furs. So now I'm just reminiscing about these pictures. There's Team Trump, part of Team Trump. The next president of the United States is in that picture. Can you point him out? Can you point him out? And here we are. Here we are, just a few feet away, really, from Seaview Terrace, which was Collinwood on Dark Shadows. The exterior shots only, just bought by a famous painter. He seems like a nice man. So if we want to step on his lawn, maybe we'll say, "Oh, come on, take your pictures. You want to see the house?" But the stupidest thing I ever did. Well, no, I've done so many stupid things. Who am I kidding? A very stupid thing was instead of going around, we decided to climb on the rocks over to the bridge and the walkway, and we climbed on these rocks. That could have ended in disaster for one of us. And there were people running on the rocks that lived there that didn't want us in their way, and they weren't nice. One guy in particular. But we had to, we were, yeah, you get in the middle of something, you say, "Oh, there's no turning back now," we can see the walkway ahead of us. So I would never do that again. People that I used to love and don't anymore. Here's one right now. I can't believe what's coming out of her mouth. And she is right now the number one YouTube person in the world in terms of views. She's bigger than Joe Rogan if you look at it globally. Another picture of Karen. Beautiful. Ah, dear. So here he is, Todd Bradshaw, the Tennessee Titan right there. Good looking man, Todd Bradshaw. I like that little scruffy beard. I like that. That's your summer one, right? Here's the lovely from Phoenix, Arizona now. Now my pictures are sticking together. Oh, dear. Nancy Barrett, who lives in Phoenix now, she's 82 years old. 82 years old. Carolyn Stoddard, Pansy Faye, and other characters that she played on Dark Shadows. No word yet whether she will be at the final Dark Shadows anniversary in Burbank on July 31st, August 1st and 2nd. She is 82, and you just don't know. You just don't know. Karen and I again. I think that's the Paramount. Is that the Paramount? I think so. Not sure. So I found a few of the pictures you might have that were in that video. Which I've shown before, a lot of them. Okay, I got some of them. Michael, you scared yourself? Oh, you good looking man. Whether you got your moonshiners. Look, I missed moonshiners Tuesday night because I thought we were on the verge of finding Nancy. We all know Nancy captivated the world and took some important stories off. And believe me, I want to, I'm hoping they find her and she's alive. It doesn't look good. Has there been any updates? I haven't checked in the last hour or so. But this poor Amazon guy who they thought looked like him, I probably didn't finish that story. They held him for hours, cuffed. He said the cuffs were too tight. They never read him as never wet him as whites. They never wet him as whites. Oh, you live in Tennessee, and so does Todd. Yeah, check that out. How far are you from Buc-ee's, Michael? So they never read him as rights and what have you. So here's Nancy Grace on the Sean Hannity show today. Well, he had come on do all his whining. She's a former prosecutor. Do all his whining. you know, uh, Said they didn't read him his rights. That's because he wasn't arrested. Well, then don't ask him a question because anything he would have been asked in that time would have been held against him. That's not fair. That's an ass backwards system. If someone is a leading suspect, you got to read them their rights and make sure they know they have the right to remain silent without being terrorized by officers that really want to solve something. We all want to see Nancy home. The odds are not good that she'll be found alive, but we all would love to see that, of course. Uh, so, and cuffed the whole time. Is that what we're talking about? And he held up his hands to. He seemed like a nice man. It's just delivering Amazon packages. Did you ever deliver there? I don't know. I probably could have. I delivered hundreds of places around here. I don't know. It looks like your eyes. Well, not really. He's a better looking man than that guy was, and he's not as stout. He's not as stout. He was in pretty good shape, but he's not as stout. But he had a mustache, beard, kind of thing. So they thought they had found him. So, these former prosecutors, Nancy, this has been a good case for Nancy's reemergence into the mainstream media. And I haven't missed her. I used to like her a little bit, watched her way back in the Court TV days. I don't remember Savannah Guthrie from Court TV. I'm not sure if she was on camera that much. I don't know. But she did work with Nancy for a while. I had to go and come back in. People tell me that happens sometime. Um, Donna lives in Ohio by the Pretenders. So my city is gone. Have you heard that song? It's the Rush Limbaugh theme song. Well, it was. And I use it now when I do my Homage to Rush series, which means I can't monetize the videos, but I love using it. Someone, again, I don't look like that much like George Jones, but at least he was a good looking man. And I could never copy his magical voice. I could never do it. Gloria is having an ad. If I missed your comment, I I'm sorry. Here's David Culp, not Robert Culp. Just stay away from Barnabas Collins. Well, see, the thing I had to explain to Polka Sean, who is going to be going to us to Wilkes-Barre. Now, come on, Pennsylvania people. On That's the plan for Polka Sean. But he does have things that happen, and you never know. But we're going Wilkes-Barre at the casino, 2 to 5 p.m. on Saturday, the 11th of April. Jimmy Sturr, the 18-time Grammy winner, and his orchestra or band. The, Everybody will be there. And also the polka family, and they all do rock and roll too, and they do country, and it's not just polka. 2 to 5 p.m. Love to meet you there if you're anywhere near Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. So, no, you got to get some more views going there. So watch Gloria's channel to be monetized. Yeah, I think you got to hit 1,000 subscribers. I think you got to hit 1,000 subscribers. Took me forever. So that's what I was trying to say, and probably didn't finish that point either. That until sometime in 2022, I was not monetized. I did 4 years of the Bob Joyce topic and didn't make a cent. Didn't make a cent. But I love the story. I wasn't thinking about that, and that was before I stopped working and everything. So there wasn't the need that I have now. And as I have said before, I kind of got broadsided there a little bit. Just so let's see here. Looking back at the Cash App on my jackthefairguy at gmail.com. We've already thanked Elaine for $10 and Patricia for hitting the Cash App prior to the show. And add to that, the Tennessee Titan himself, Todd Bradshaw, hits the Cash App for $30. I appreciate that, Todd. He's one of the core people. I guess you haven't heard from Vinny Maru either. I'll try emailing him again. I pray for him. He's on my prayer list. So, and this is for the Hasbro moon landing playset. Hasbro. I haven't heard that name at a dog's age. Yeah. There's some stuff, there's some twists and turns there. So I'm not sure about the 1969 moon landing, but I don't believe in the flat earth. Do you, Todd? I'm not sure. But we cover the content somewhere after 20 minutes in. I'll have to put that in the replay video because people say, well, when's he going to talk about it, So thank you. If you can add to it, well, look at that. Out of nowhere, I'm so happy, not just because you hit the Cash App, Vinny Maru, but because we're hearing from you. Been super worried about you. I pray for you every night. And, you already had enough tragedy in your life and you didn't need any more. And we all wonder how you're doing. In the tummy area, etc. Vinny Maru hits the Cash App for $100. Him and Todd and Elaine are like the magic top three. But there's so many others that we hear from time to time as well, including Tammy with an I and Jane Justice and. Oh boy, see, I start naming things and I got to have a recall that is sort of a little bit on the fritz, So it's not meant to. So thank you so much, Vinny. I don't know if you're talking to the people here or if you're not well, because we have been worried about you. If the earth is flat, then where's the edge? I just said that earlier. I said, tell me where I have to go, that if I take one more step, I'm in the abyss. I want to know where that is. Can you imagine the amount of people that would have to be involved in a conspiracy like that to pull it off? And why would they want to? What remember when William Shatner took a little quick ride up in space and was so amazed when he came down. His family were there along with a lot of other people, a lot of other media watching the thing go up, and then he comes back down. So, what are you saying? In there was an elaborate a video system that made him think he was looking at something that was just a screen. I know what you're going to say, but it gets crazy, go nuts after a while. Oh, okay, I will check it out, Neo. She's talking to Neo. Remember, he was in that 1970 what movie? 70, I want to say 72. Was it that early? One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. He was one of the patients in that movie. Not a lot of people know that. Not a lot of people know that. You weren't even born then, Neo, or were you? Perhaps the cats pushed it off, David. Yeah, those cats, that darn cat starring Dean Jones. I was almost going to say Dean Stockwell. Oh, okay. I will check it out, Neil. Yeah. Todd says, good question. Every country in the world has a treaty. I'm in the middle of a conversation here that you cannot go to the edge. Antarctica and Antarctica treaty, I believe. Huh. Yes. Warning, warning. Do not go past this site or you will receive severe tire damage. Severe tire damage. That'll be enough to get you to stop, right? Why don't they use bloodhounds? Says Rocky Wing. Oh yeah, for the Nancy investigation, they haven't. I thought they might have. It seems like they've been employing everything, but yeah, bloodhounds are important. Sure. I mean, it's wild. You give them a scent of somebody, say they've been abducted and they're driving in a car. I don't know if the windows of the car have to be open, but you put the bloodhound with you in another car and you start going down the road, holding the article of clothing nearby, and that bloodhound will know when you're approaching the area where that person is. Now, if that isn't wild, I'm telling you, it's wild, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what is. I have less than 500. Oh, well, that's a great start, though. I didn't have 500 for a long time. So, what you got to do is you have to have a little prayer cloth. It's just a point of contact. It's just a point of contact. You know, it is true in Christian video ministries that love gifts do garnish attention. You got this really special night light or whatever for your gift of, but I think they like you to be, a nonprofit there. Not that you don't get paid with a nonprofit. Is Joel Osteen nonprofit? He'd have to be, but he's a multi millionaire, and he would say it's all based on his book sales and what have you. He does not take a salary for being pastor. I can't believe it, but here at our Galleria, I wish Ken Winters was on right now. I was going to say Ken Larkin. He's another Ken that we have sometimes. But in our Galleria, which has become, we lost Sears, we lost another big one. I think J.C. Penney's is hanging on, but there's all these entertainment complexes now with lasers and all kinds of, fancy dancy video machines and stuff. That's what you find in the malls now, in a movie theater hanging on. Um, I'm almost getting to the point where I'm like Forrest Gump in the movie where he drinks all the Dr. Peppers, Not quite there yet. Okay. So, yes, I got it. See, it just took me a second to think about it. We have this huge, gigantic bookstore, Barnes and Noble, that was it was in Newburgh. There was a really nice Barnes and Noble. They have everything in there, including a real nice coffee shop and everything like that, and chairs. But they're going to have real books in there, and music and everything else that they do in the 2026 version of Barnes and Noble. But it's opening in our Galleria late this year. Late this year. I'm trying to think what building they're going to use. I haven't. I haven't. I know where the other bookstore was. I don't think it's there because it's a lot of space, a lot of square feet. And I'm thrilled. I'll go there and I'll buy there because I miss that experience. Like I miss going into the video store with the videotapes and looking all around and trying to find the filthiest. I'm joking. I'm joking. Trying to find Old Yeller in the video store and Lassie Come Home, movies like that, trying to find those movies and, taking 2 or 3 movies out. Well, you got to have it back Friday or there'll be a fine. You got 5 days or whatever. Now we're down to just Redbox. Do you still have Redbox outside some of your, or inside the little foyer there is Redbox? I don't know why they put it outside because that's bad for the weather and more likely to be vandaled. But I'm thrilled that Barnes and Noble is coming back. We need things to come back that took away our innocence and what have you. That there's a whole world beyond the video screen. It's a great tool, enjoy, but then say, okay, I've had my time. I'm not going to scroll anymore. I'm not going to sit here and scroll endlessly. I do that sometimes. The Facebook Reels, I got to see how Sydney Toey is doing in her cancer journey. People like Steve Gutenberg are very interesting and what have you. But there comes a time to say, I'm going to shut it off and I'm going to live a life. I'm going to live a life. It's like going to church, but never doing anything that you've been taught and learned to do, and going straight to the Word of God and then praying as to what specifically is your assignment. Mike Murdoch teaches on this all the time. What is your assignment? Everybody has one. What is your assignment? What do you think, Gloria? Old Yeller was so sad. Yeah, I remember I probably had a tear in my eye when I was a child. I remember. Yeah. I'm not I'm not tech savvy, Neil, for sure. Yeah. And well, Neil says he does old school tech. He doesn't do AI. I was kind of disappointed to hear that. Or even really CGI, but yet he's done some really cool thumbnails for us. So I don't know how he does it. How do you do it, Neil? Anybody else want to play chess behind Jack? You could make that happen, huh? If we worked on it. David Cope says we still have a red box in the grocery store in Newton Falls, Ohio. Warren. I have heard of Warren. Newton, I always associate with New Jersey, not too far from me, Newton, New Jersey. Oh, man. Just let me say this real quick, Robin, because I'm not going to mention the B word. I promised you. That candidate that's running in, there's a part of New Jersey where she is for Congress. Oh, please, New Jersey, don't do this to your state. It's so bad that we lost a great governor in Virginia like Youngkin, replaced by Spamberger. Oh, that's all I'm going to say. Checkmate. That's a real thinking man's game or thinking woman's game, isn't it, Robin Roman? You really gotta know your stuff to play chess. It's not as easy as checkers, and there's some skill involved there. But yeah. There's been chess matches, of course, that have been televised. Who was the big chess player from the 70s or 80s? Who was it? Things that make you go, I don't know how to edit. Boy, Gloria, all my life I've had this problem. I told myself I couldn't do it, and wouldn't you know, by guy G golly willikers, I was right. Every time I told myself I couldn't do something, I'll tell you what, I think if I looked up the term in the in the book about terms, self-fulfilling prophecy, I might see my picture. I might see my picture. Bobby Fischer. Thank you, David Culp. David Culp knew it right away. And who did he play against? Who did he play against? Was it and uh Bobby Fischer had the black rim glasses and said, "No woman." Am I getting? It's coming back to me. No woman's going to beat me, and that's when what's her name beat him. Who beat him? I thought it was Bobby Fischer. Sounds right to me. Yeah, it does prevent when you don't know your tech in this age. I say that to myself all the time. Randy, Andy doesn't know all the tech either. Like I said, I really want to set up the Zoom, and he just didn't seem to be into it. And he said I'd have to do it through OBS. I couldn't do it any other way, and that there's a lot of steps. And he just didn't seem like he was interested in helping me with that. He's helped me with so many things. He helps the whole neighborhood. Well, at least the four houses in a row with so many things. Very, very gifted. The things he can do, you can't believe it. Everyone have a good night. Well, oh, did I ever show you pictures? I never showed you the pictures, Michael. So I'll show them real fast. Or have you already left? Tell me if you've already left, Michael, like you could, right? I'm holding them in my left hand. You didn't remind me. I mean, I know you reminded me a number of times, but um, see, most of the people have seen the pictures that we showed here. So if you don't remind me, I'll just show a few. Um, I don't want to be too much from the Department of Redundancy department because we've shown them before, but check out that video. That's all you have to do. You can see them all yourself. Um, let's see here. You go back to the general list. Is Bob Joyce done with George Magazine? Please watch that. Subscribe, like, hit the notification bell. And Bob Joyce caught in a trap. That's over 2,000 views right now. Let me go to analytics here. Go to analytics on that video, which came out 10 a.m. Monday morning, 10 a.m. Monday morning, East Coast time. Well, look at that, 2,100. 21K for that video. Bob Joyce caught in a trap. A lot of people were sending me that information, so I felt that you wanted me to do the video, and I thought it was, basically fair. We're not trying to hurt Pastor in any way, shape, or form. Thank you, Pam Inslee, for hitting the thanks button in that pre-recorded video for $15. I pin you right up there in the front when you do something like that. Your first comment, you stay the first comment. So thank you, Pam Inslee. And we heard from 3 severed heads there in that video. Roxanne O'Brien, some new people there. Jane Justice and Chantel from Canada. Bonjour. Thank God I can translate to English. I know what bonjour means, but other than that, it can be a little tricky. We heard from Irish from Waterford, Ireland. Waterford Island. Helen McDonald, Deborah McGinty was in there. Nathan Slaughter, I'm sorry, he comes on live sometimes. We heard from, thought it was Ermi, but it's Emi. She's talking about, the question is who wrote that song? and she says, "Jesus, Jesus, save me from save me from my sin," on the Coming Home album 2024. Would for sure be listed with the writer's name, and Pastor Bob doesn't name anyone. I'm talking about on the sleeve here, you know, on the CD sleeve to Coming Home. After every song, he lists who wrote the song, like he lists Fanny Crosby for "Pass Me Not, O Gentle Savior," but then he says also Bob Joyce, meaning that he must have contributed something to that song, I guess. So it's not available in your search if you search the internet by anyone else. It sounds just like Elvis music from back then. Well, that song I often confuse it with, and thank you for that. Uh-oh. Repent, Pray, Love. This could be a tough one. So I'm going to pre-read that before I try to read it live. Here we are, back and in real time. I can edit pictures pretty quickly sometimes. We may have use of that. Oh, you're waiting, so you didn't leave. Well, all right, I'll just go through this real quick, because we've shown most of these pictures, and I'm probably not going to hit the one you most wanted me to hit because it's not in the pile that I have here. We contend that there's no way that the current pastor ever was this man here. This is a young Robert Wayne Joyce as a soldier. Just in case, you know who he is? Justin Case. I actually work with a guy who called himself Just in Case. Wouldn't it be something if it was him at WVOS FM in Monticello? Uh, he uh, he has 3-part comparison videos looking at the young soldier's face and matching it to Pastor Bob, and it's not the same man. It's the end of story. It's not the same man. So just type in Justin Case in the search bar, and you can see all of Justin's videos, including those. And older with the gray and the beard, fuller face, definitely not. I said in that video that you are talking about, Pastor Bob caught in a trap, or was it the other one on George Magazine? It's one or the other. Got so many videos. That's Pastor Bob 2011. We have in wild new Bob Joyce video, which has got 72,000 going towards 73,000 views right now. You can find it here at the Virtual Church of the Disillusion. We show 2 roll-in clips in that, and this gentleman here from 2011, Pastor Bob's first church, is singing "Come On to Me" in that video. And you can find it, and you will hear him talk up the song. You hear the voice and the singing voice. Look into his eyes. To me, that's Elvis Presley. That is my final conclusion. But I speak of possibilities. I could be wrong about the whole thing. And there's not even a movie star that ever existed named Nicolas Cage, even though he's done 2,000 movies. I mean, he does 4 or 5 a year, this man. I thought once he paid off the IRS, he would stop working so much, but he likes to work or something, or he's still buying dinosaur bones at these auctions. I'm not sure which. And another picture of him there, you know. This is in 2011, John Cook video, when he was, all of a sudden, there was this Pastor Bob Joyce. There was this Pastor Bob Joyce. A more recent professional picture. Pastor Bob Joyce has professional management, LWC Media. Go to bobjoycemusic.com and subscribe. Subscribe. They're probably not that happy with me right now from the last video. So tell them Jack is a good guy. He's a good guy, and just felt that, when I start getting half dozen emails saying, "Do you see this here?" I felt I had to talk about it. So before I get to that topic, we've seen this photo many times of On the right and the left is Bob Joyce that looks very much like he could be 91 years old. The middle picture is the guy who Greg Pritchard from Atlanta, Georgia, encountered when he knocked on the door. Well, Lino was there. First, there was a barking dog that's named Annihilator. And this man came to the door and we took a poll. Do you think that's the same man who preaches every Sunday or someone who looks very much like him? Most people thought it was someone who looks very much like him, but not the same man. Not this man. Not this man. Pastor Bob Joyce. We talked about the AI ripoffs. I know you could do better than this, Neil, right? Don't use that picture that's a fake Bob Joyce. You know, the one that you had him sitting here. Don't ever use that picture again, please. And they put the real fake Bob Joyce down there. That's a fake Bob Joyce next to Elvis Presley. Looks like he swallowed a canary. And here's a better picture of the fake one of. Oh, I got to show you. I got a new picture to show you that somebody sent me. That's on my phone. I got to pull it out. I can pull it out of my pocket. So don't go anywhere, Michael, for goodness sakes. Yeah, that's not the current pastor, and that's not Robert Wayne Joyce either. I don't believe. No. Then we showed you this man. I got a barrel full of Bob Joyce's. There's a video here called Barrel Full of Bob Joyce's. I wish I had the link for you. I only do Jones sausage links, basically. So you can find it if you look down the video list, but that I've got to find a better way. Then there's this person here. No, I just don't think so. The eyes don't line up. Someone says, boy, does he look like Vernon, though. Love child of Vernon, right? Love child of Vernon. People say this. And this one here with young Sabrina, young Robert Wayne Joyce. What else? What else? But in terms of young Robert Wayne Joyce, say from about 1980-ish or what have you, this is the one right here. Ain't no way that's the current pastor of Household of Faith. I'm sorry. I can't find too many people that say it is. Maybe it's like 5%. 5%. And they're called Elvis protectors. So, you want another Bob Joyce? I'll give it to you. Oh, I hope my phone is here. This pocket, right? Yeah. Somebody sent this in to me now. Maybe you've seen this before. I don't know. I've never showed it. I know that much. How would you like a tall, lanky Bob Joyce? They cut the top of his head off. I didn't. They did. They cut the top of his head off, but he's got the same hairstyle and the same thing in the beard and what have you. And I don't know when I hold these up live how they're going to look. How they're going to look. Why did I say that again? Why did I say that again? Now, don't tell me I don't have it here because I have it somewhere. I hate when this happens. Must be further down. If not, it's in Karen's text. All right, I'll go to Karen's text. Oh, somebody texted me. Let's see, what did Karen have to say? Oh, she wants me to make sure the heat's on 68. It may be already, it probably is, but I'll definitely put it up when I go soon. I got to go do my usual dishes and stuff. Life is not always red carpet and limousines and that for me, you know. In fact, it's never that. But she transferred that picture for me, so I know it's right here. I know it's right here. Here we go. Bring this up, make it bigger. So, and I love that the whether it be Robert Wayne Joyce, but he's too tall and lanky. Uh, this is a crazy story. I love that he's holding a cell phone with the camera pointed at us. I love that. Is this from Little Rock, Arkansas? And the Holy Spirit's in the picture. And he's holding an olive branch. I mean, you got it all here on this photo. I hope it comes in live. Oh, why don't you stop holding up pictures? Don't even bother, that are, especially the ones that are off the phone. But This guy, interesting. Look at that. Could that have been, what do you think? I've never seen this one. Face is skinnier, but look, he's got the same beard. Is that not crazy go nuts? I don't think this is AI. I know people will say everything is AI today. Wow, man. And as I say, they cut off the top of his head. I didn't do that. They did in the picture. So what do you think of that? There's the debut of that here at this channel. David Culp, you say definitely Photoshop. What makes you say it? Because I don't know what to look for. How can I text you? You ain't my phone number, buddy. Nice try. I have to know you for years. I have to know you for years. Um, let's see here. What's wrong with email? You don't have it? jackthefairguy@gmail.com. Believe me, one thing Karen hates is when we're sitting having time together and I start looking at my phone. Who are you texting? Who are you doing this with? Yet she can scroll and it's okay, but if we're watching Dark Shadows, she don't want me looking down at my phone, that kind of thing. Oh, I know it's not him, Gloria. No, I understand that. I don't know who it is. What do you think, Todd? I'd love to hear your opinion. And I understand what you're saying, Gloria, and I agree with you. Even the Tennessee Titan does not have Jack's phone number. Really? You certainly could. You certainly could. You're in that special club because I've known you for a long time. I know you're the real deal. I mean, Michael could be a serial killer for I know. I mean, he could take a box of cereal and go through it in like 1 hour. Serial killer. Get it? I'm not saying it was great humor. You're gonna have it. You're gonna have it, Todd. I'm not Karnak, you know. I'm not Karnak. I know you know who Karnak was. Pam Donnelly, I think it's Photoshop. What makes you think that? I'm looking for tech talk here, but I also think it's Robert Wayne Joyce, not Bob Joyce. So it's definitely not Bob Joyce. No way. But Robert Wayne wasn't that tall, was he? So you think they could change the height to make it to throw you off? I don't know. um, Oh, Todd was saying, good night, Rocky Mountain Red Wing. Have a good day tomorrow. Amen. The pic looks like lattice through your eyes, my eyes, somebody's eyes. So, I mean, I can tell, obviously you can tell when something is bad CGI. Got to understand at this point, I have hundreds. I mean, this photo here, first of all, Priscilla has aged a little bit. She doesn't quite look like that anymore. And the long face of Pastor Bob, they don't have it right. They just don't have it right. But there's a lot of that out there. I like this picture when we were talking about the is JFK Jr. alive, which I don't believe, but yeah, 2011 Bob is Elvis you feel. I do too, Michael. How about, I thought this was good work or real. Carolyn or Caroline Kennedy? Can't be Caroline because Sweet Caroline was written not for the wife, but for the sister. So Carolyn, what's her name? The wife of JFK Jr., the late JFK Jr. And then the age picture of her, still alive, and there she is. I thought that was very well done. I wouldn't rule it out 100%. That's kind of how she would look. So I thought that was good. Had to leave. My cleaner arrived. Well, la-di-da. when does your gardener arrive, huh? Huh. My goodness. Do you have a hunky masseuse coming in? He's got uh, he's got abs the size of Cleveland, huh? Dodgers, Dodger Ram Sport. Load your pictures to your computer in the file, and then you can put the picture up on the screen and not have to do it this way. It's easy for you that know how to do that. And you're talking about live do it, right? I mean, I can have Andy come in and roll in things. You're a tech savvy, so you can't you just think that's why don't you do that? It's the easiest thing in the world. It's not. It's not the easiest thing in the world. And there's only so much time I beset, that's the last name. I saw the rally and spotted her immediately, not AI or Photoshop, the older version you're talking about. Okay. All right. I wasn't there. I can't say, oh, no, you didn't. Jacqueline Kennedy, of course, Jackie was the mom of JFK Jr. David Culp, not to be confused with Robert Culp. So Paulette would not, you know, that's your experience, and you saw what you saw. Email me that photo, Jack. I'll tell you right away if it's photoshopped. I just need a close look at it. I have the tools. Well, you have lots of tools, but which this one right here, Todd? Is that what you're speaking of? All right. Even to do that, I got to think about how I do it. So I may have to have Andy do that. Yeah, well, he's had so many rallies and he's doing one. He's going to do at least one or two every month now during the midterms because he's really concerned about that. Really concerned. True to only. Shouldn't that be true to you only? Jack, it's me again, Margaret. So you are the Margaret that we had for so long. Last initial O? Or is that the movie actress? So I will try to do that, Todd. I will, but I'm not so good with attaching things. Although I've grown attached, and I still hear the song. Eventually, hit the road, Jack. Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no mo, no mo, no mo. Too late, done. Got a free shot. Gloria's taking shots here, everybody. Either this kind of shots or, tequila, tequila. Da 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 da. Whatever the one was in question seems it was the picture where he's in the weird, awkward pose. Um, Certainly, the picture of tall, lanky Bob Joyce lookalike comes into play too. Belinda Lemon is true to you only. I got to put a U in there. True to only. Just doesn't roll off the tongue. So you're Belinda Lemon, not to be confused with Belinda Taylor, not to be confused with Belinda Carlisle. But why would she be watching, huh? My audience is older, you know. 0 to what was the end figure? 0 to 35, I have almost nobody. Almost nobody. Why is that? Remember when Trump said at a rally, Elvis is in the building? Yeah, not referring to the music. Yes, the guy who looked more like the Elvis Gardner behind him from Graceland. It didn't seem to me to be Bob Joyce with extra fluffy beard. Didn't seem to me. That's just me. Andrea, I keep hearing you keep saying Andrea, but where is she? I don't see her. I don't see her at all. I don't see her at all. Want to look at more pictures? I've sure got enough. I'll tell you that. You know. I mean, we did in that video, we did, which one is Willina Joyce? Is this Willina Joyce? What say you? Some say that's Sigrid Schutz. We have pictures of her standing next to the woman we really think is Sigrid Schutz or Schultz. I see it as Schultz, but whatever. Is that Willina Joyce? Because at the time would have been Willina Hattie, the Germany girlfriend of Elvis Presley for quite a while. She's in lots of different pictures. It wasn't like a fan that wanted a picture. She's in lots of pictures with Elvis. And then someone sends me this from a 1968 yearbook, which would make Willina just about 73. And Willina Hattie. Then someone said they looked and found that yearbook, and that picture doesn't exist in there. So this is one big mystery. As I said, um, don't forget his name again. Why do there are some names that I forget over and over again? Their specific name, or other ones I would never forget. I would uh, never forget. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Well, Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell is going to be saying, I can't play Bob Joyce in a movie. I need a 4-part miniseries to do this story right. I need a 4-part miniseries. So that's just another one of those things. Which one do you think, guys? Which one is Willina, or C, none of the above? None of the above. P.S. You did not answer my reply. I don't see how you cannot forget me. It's me again, Margaret. Sure, I do remember Margaret. I do. Um, did we have 2 Margarets at one time though? But I think you're Margaret O. I don't know why that's coming to mind. And yeah, now why have you left me for this long? I thought I thought you were doing hard time. I have to admit, I thought you were doing hard time. So Vinny did not start to talk, right? But we know he exists. So I'll email him again, and hopefully, um, of course, who doesn't like Patsy Cline? I mean, people of a certain age. Obviously, someone who's into to Taylor Swift is not going to really be a. Do do you remember me, Jack? Well, I think you're the sister of Paul Peterson from the Donna Reed show, but I'm not sure. There's only one. Okay, you know that for a fact, right? And you were away for quite some time, or were you just silent? Had you gone silent on us, huh? We had a difference of opinion. Okay. I sent you pictures of my bayou and my alligators. And what could I have argued with about there? So refresh my memory here. Oh, look at the time. It's already past 2 hours. Isn't this amazing when we get together, guys? Willina looked happy back then, all the days before big bills and troubles. Huh. The Willina from the 68 yearbook, or the Willina with Soldier Presley in Germany? Hmm. Neo's got those ads running. Yeah. So I know that, from time to time there will be those kind of things. Um, you just, it stands to reason if you're on long enough, there'll come that time when there'll be a disagreement. But very rarely have I blocked someone in the core audience. Very rarely. It's usually somebody that comes in here to give us trouble or something, and you all want them blocked, by the way. Robin Roman and I have had our disagreements, haven't we? Jack, I know you will still see the OFOs at your house. The OFOs. Now I've got to think what an OFO to. If you said UFOs, I would know. But what do you make of it? What's your opinion, and what that is, and what they are doing. Okay, so you're talking about the drones, because some of them are drones, but they're not the kind that Junior flies from the Best Buy. See, I'm going to have more to say about this now that the weather's going to be warming up, and I'll be out there more looking. Some of them are V-shaped. They're not a plane. We saw them flying over the McDonald's that time after we saw the Barry Manilow tribute artist. Karen saw them. I saw them. We got something else weird happening too, by the way, before I close for the night. Um, but yeah, we see them, and we don't live anywhere near a major airport. But if I go stand out there right now, I'm going to hear sounds of an engine. I'm going to hear sounds of an engine. Now, some of the UFOs are silent, or they make a different sound, and some are big and some are small. Then you got the minis. If you look through my list, you'll see footage shot in that back window of the mini UFOs. And it's like they saw me. I had the lights out and I'm filming. They saw the camera and decided to put a show on for me, which is a lot better than, abducting me. I don't want to be abducted. But they put on a show, and they split into different shapes, and they were multicolor, and it was quite something to see. But yet that video hasn't even cracked 300 views, I don't think. And if it has, it's not many more than that. So I'm going to be watching more as it gets warmer, Robert and Roman. Nobody seems to care, though. Not too many, and of course, I'm not doing the kind of tech that some will do, but those that are doing that kind of tech could be fooling you with AI. With me, it's no way it's AI, huh? There's a selling point. You need to move down here to Texas. Well, I'll be visiting soon. I don't want to say too much, but I'll be visiting soon because my son lives there. I've said that before. My son lives there. And that's all I better say. I'm under specific orders. You need to move down here to Texas to get rid of that cold weather. Yeah, you have a lot less of it. You have strange weather where it's 39 on Monday and 82 on the next day. People say, oh, that's what gets you cold, but I don't agree with that. I don't think that's true. Germs get you cold, touching something and then touching your eye, that kind of thing. But I love parts of Texas. Other parts in July and August, man, I don't think I want to be there. We have this beautiful spring here in the Hudson Valley in early summer. Then we have a hot season, and before you know it, the chilly winds are blowing in September. And who would want to have been here this past January into February if you were ever going to go to Florida? And you had to go well into Florida, which the further in you go, the more expensive it gets. I would recommend St. Pete if you're looking for a cheap Florida experience. Probably regret saying this because there won't be any rooms for me if I should visit St. Pete, but that Red Roof Inn has got some good rates. They do. And Jimmy Sturr will be there the last Friday in the month with his orchestra. I'd love to be there. Just come pick me up and we'll do it. Yeah, I want to drive. I like driving. But not by myself, I know what someone's going to say now. Oh, let's see here. So you see him out there in Texas, I take it. Yeah, I'm very interested in those things. The government is spying on you, Jack, because of the Bob Joyce topic. LOL. Ha ha ha. No stick, Pam. You could be right. You could be right, or you could be crazy, because there's always a few people here that are crazy, and they can be the most fun of all, or not, or not. Germany. Yeah, what do we want to say about it? Do you think? Oh, so you're saying that you believe that the Germany girlfriend is Walina Hattie, who married Robert Wayne Joyce. No one said she married Bob Joyce. No ring on that finger either. People point that out all the time. And who was at the door of the Robert Wayne Joyce house, which is closest to the church? Someone that we don't think is the man you see every Sunday preaching in the pulpit at Household of Faith. This is such a strange story, everybody. Such a strange story. Virginia hasn't been horrible. But boy, your governor sure is. What did you do down there, Neo? I hope you didn't vote for that spam burger. Every time she opens her mouth, I cringe. I don't know. They could have had this Lieutenant Governor Sears, wonderful black woman, experienced, godly woman. They could have had her. She got pretty close, but not no cigar. And you can only stay for 4 years, and then you got to leave. Youngkin had to leave. He can run for governor against Bamberger in a few years. He can. She can only be there doing damage for 4 years. Oh boy, there's been a lot of that. But this is not a political show. Sometimes we have to, though. Didn't vote for Scam Burner. Okay, I'm glad to hear it. Okay, I'm back. Well, what did you do in the meantime, Katina? We'd like a full report. Don't let us put a body cam on you. At least it would be shooting outwards, you know. There is that. So those comments go by pretty fast, and I miss some. I see Walina, not Sigrid. Right. I agree with you. Sometimes the Elvis protectors try to say things. I'm always looking for stuff. Like I used to look for love in all the wrong places. Believe me, that's a true statement. Truer words have not been spoken. So here I was doing a contemporary Christian show on the very secular station that I had been Jackie London playing the hits, and I was still doing both. But I called myself Jack Willard on the Sunday morning show. I didn't tell them I was going to do that. So they probably thought I was going to come on as Jackie London. But no way am I going to use a fake name when I'm doing Christian radio, unless that's been my established professional name for a long time. I have to go to school to learn how to open up a cough drop because it's just not opening up. So God decided to make a point to me. And I passed by this particular establishment in the evening. I don't know why I was out that way, but it was open and there were a lot of cars there. And I knew what was going on there, you know, a little show, like a burlesque perhaps. And I just, I was weak and I decided this goes back to the 80s, guys. I think the 80s, early 90s. I decided to go in there just to have a look-see, just to look-see. And here I am doing a contemporary Christian show on Sundays that's fairly popular. And sometimes I go out and people see me interviewing bands at churches and stuff like that. So I go in there to have a little look-see. I'm not going to be there long. And God had a plan for that night. I wasn't there 5 minutes, and someone who shouldn't have been there either came up to me and said, "Jack Willard." Well, I guess you're a man too. I guess you have needs too. And I asked him his name and I said, say it was Michael. I said, no, Michael, there's no excuse for me being here whatsoever. And God is behind this happening. You shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be here. And this is God's way of telling me to leave. And I did. And I did. I remember that. I remember you. I can't do this. Brad's sleeping. I don't know if he gets up too early on Friday, though. So I'm not quite sure what you're saying. Is that you again, Margaret? Barrier? Baria? What? Where did you look at that, Paul? At which search? You went to Google and you typed in. Remember, there's probably more than one Walina Joyce. There's certainly a lot of Pastor Bob Joyces out there in various churches. A couple of them got no hair. A couple of them have died, and what have you. It's not an uncommon name, Bob Joyce. Um, Believe me, we've seen Willina at the church in 25 and in 26. So there's just so much. Jack, please don't think that we are arguing. I just care for it when you speak ugly of Joe Biden. Why that name? So because you're a Joe. Now you've made me say the B word, and I promise not to say it. I blame you for this, Robin Roman. How dare you? Um, that was over a year ago. I believe that our Christian responsibility is love. Well, yes, speak the truth in love. I am concerned for Joe Biden's soul. I don't see that he even has one. So, I don't want to see anybody go to hell. I don't want to see if somebody murders my children, God forbid. I don't want to see them go to hell. I don't want anybody to go to hell. And I am concerned for that man's soul. And I prayed a little bit for him, but not anywhere near as much. But you also said you don't want to hear anything negative, and that could be anything. I could be in the Bob Joyce content. You perceive something as negative. I think they might have considered something negative. But you have a certain responsibility when you're the chronological storyteller, and when Candace Owens is saying the hateful things that she's saying, in my opinion, I want to speak about it somewhere because this is just not right. This is just not right. And the thing about this medium here is once you start getting the kind of views she's getting, anywhere between almost a million and 5 or 6 million, that's a tremendous amount of money she's getting from YouTube. And um, Dave Rubin, he has his own opinion show. He's very good. Dave Rubin, check him out. He was saying in 2022, she told him that she didn't like Charlie Kirk at all. I don't know if she had been released from Turning Point at that point yet. Turning Point at that point, but she didn't like Charlie Kirk at all, yet she's been this defender, but now she's starting to call Charlie Kirk a liar and all this. And I'm sure there were times when he did say something that he regretted saying, did lie. We all do. The idea is to admit your sin and confess it. And if it's hurt anybody, to go to that person. So I understand what you're saying. And you can, it's not like people were clamoring for me to speak more about the last president of the United States, and I certainly don't portray Trump as the as anything more than a flawed vessel that God is using. That's how I portray it. This is my second good night. Katina says, "Well, thank you for stopping by." So yeah, I get some of what you're saying. I don't know if you're going to be willing to see some of my points of view, but I get some of what you're saying. Duck, duck, go with Pastor Bob. You're not Ducky, also, are you, Paulette? There's a Ducky out there, not here that I know of right now. So we didn't really get to hear from Vinny, so I'll have to try to email him again and hope that he's okay. He hit the Cash App for $100 tonight, which saved the day because thanks button is way down and Cash App is just a few people. So if you can hit the thanks button or hit the Cash App, which is lowercase letters Media Guy 56 for even $2, that all helps. That all helps. So I think we've all already covered it. Can you believe how long we've been on? We do talk about the flat earth versus the round earth in the beginning of this program, about 22 minutes in, which is too late. That's why I like to do these topics in pre-recorded videos, but we have to have material for here too. Poor Karen. She's got to take the second dose of this medicine at about 3 o'clock in the morning. She's saying, I don't want to do this again. I can understand that. I can understand that. So, Perhaps we'll be on this weekend, and I'll let you know exactly when, whether it'll be 9 o'clock Saturday or another time. I don't like to box myself in. Sometimes, there's a saying, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Have you heard it? If you certainly, I've seen others that oversaturate and it's really hurting them, and they fancy themselves a clever broadcaster, and they're anything but that. Because I know when I see a clever broadcaster, I tuned in Russell Brand for the first time and I said, wow, whoever thought this British actor who didn't even used to believe in God is now this great spokesman and a very, very insightful commentator, Russell Brand. Philippians 4, beginning with verse 4, rejoice in the Lord always. I will say it again, rejoice. Let your gentleness be evident to all. The Lord is near. If I make my bed in hell, the Lord is there with me. If I go into I didn't want to say that. If I go into a semi-strip club, I brought the Lord in there with me. The Lord is near. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayers and petitions with thanksgiving, present your requests to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Whatever you have learned or received or heard from me, or this is Paul speaking, or seen in me, put into practice. We have to have feet to our faith. We have to add feet to our faith. And the God of peace will be with you. From the Apostle Paul, letter to the Philippians in the 4th chapter. Of course, we made the chapters. He just wrote a letter. So down to the end here, 43 watching. And look at that. David Culp hits the thanks button for $10. Thank you very much, David. I appreciate it. Every little bit helps. Every little bit helps. And in terms of the thanks button, Google does take a portion, but it still goes into my grand total, and I notice the difference. And then there's the Cash App, lowercase letters, and media guy. 56 lowercase letters, media guy 56 on the Cash App. Sent you the link. I'll get to it, but believe me now, after a 2.5-hour show, I gotta pretty much close down, and I gotta go wash dishes, see how Karen's doing, and I don't know how much sleep I'm going to get, because this morning I realized I just had not gotten enough, and I took a second Xanax, which I haven't done in weeks. And the next thing I knew, it was 1:05 in the afternoon. 1:05. I knew there was nothing on the agenda that was that pressing, except Ashes on Ash Wednesday, only to discover Ash Wednesday is next week. Oh, dear. So, Margaret, I love you. Welcome back. I think you've been here a few times, though, incognito. So thank you, David Culp. Anybody else that can do that, that's very welcome. And thank you, Gloria Drummond, for being here. Yes, we all love you, Jack. Well, thank you, Gloria. Love you back. Who knew that this late in my career I would have, the biggest audience that I've ever had? I suppose if you added it all up over the years, over 1 million people have checked this out. But, I'm still a very small fish. I may not look that way, but I'm a small fish in a very big pond. So I will look at that. And I'll be in touch with you tomorrow, Todd. I will. So thank you for watching Worldwide Ramblings for this Wednesday. Don't forget, Saturday is Valentine's Day. It's Valentine's Day. And we're getting closer to the spring of 2026, which when you live on the East Coast, I'll be out in Texas this year. That's the plan to visit my son. I'd love to also go to another place uh, down south. That'll take God's hand. So pray that I get to do that. It's an important trip that I would love to make before the day comes when I can't. That's all she wrote. Big God bless you. Talk to you soon. Have a terrific Thursday if you're watching live. Hello, replay crowd. Please subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, hit the thanks button or the Cash App as well. All that information is here. Bye bye for now.